This is Rugby Merlin and welcome back to the channel. With the knockout phase fast approaching, how will the tweaks made to the Champions Cup affect the results this weekend? In this video I'm going to give you a breakdown of how the tournament is structured and how that can affect the results of the games this weekend, and also make a few predictions at the end. There have been quite a few tweaks made over the last few years, some of them enforced by the pandemic that we went through. But this year's changes really do affect the potential outcomes of the games, so we're going to have a look at that. As for the pool stages, they've already been played and the teams are through to the last 16. Now some are advocating for the last 16 to be abolished. Not sure if I agree with that or not. It could go straight to the quarterfinals, but as it is, we have 16 teams in the knockout phase. And the most important point to remember is that there's only one leg in this knockout phase and all through the tournament from now on. So teams have one match, they're one and done. So home advantage becomes particularly important in the knockout phase now. Also, another very important point is that if you watch the European Rugby Champions Cup video on their website describing the changes that they did make, it's very convoluted, and one of their main goals was not to have the teams that played each other in the pool games play each other in the knockout phase. Now this has been a resounding disaster really, because 5 of the teams that played in the pool stage are playing each other in the knockout stage. Now that is not what this system was designed to do, so you can expect more changes in the future. Because it's only one leg in the last 16, and from the last 16 onwards, the home advantage becomes incredibly important, particularly when you have South Africa and France in the competition, because traveling a significant distance like that obviously gives the home team an advantage, a big one. And you can see that from the results through the URC. And how did they come about granting the teams home advantage? It seems like a pretty fair system, to be honest. Most of the teams' results from the pool stage were taken into account, and points, things like that, overall points, home and away advantages, tries, etc. You know, it gets like smaller and smaller, the minutiae. But basically, the teams that did the best in the pool stage get the home advantage, and it is a big advantage. Now, of those 5 teams that played each other previously in the pool stage, only Northampton and Leinster won away. And they have to be very, very strong favourites because they finished high in the pools, playing at home in the knockout phase. At this point, I will say that the name of the tournament, famously known as the Heineken Cup previously, is now the European Rugby Champions Cup. So there's a couple of points there which don't really fit, and that's European, because there are South African teams in the tournament, and also the Champions Cup, because a lot of the teams are not champions. For example, England and France, it's the top finishing 8 teams that qualify, and from this year also in the URC. So the name needs a little bit of work, I think. If you can suggest some titles for the competition, I'll be happy to discuss that with you. But European Rugby Champions Cup, as is known now, so yeah, maybe that'll be changed in the future too. So let's get into the actual matches that are being played this weekend. We'll have a look at the teams, make some predictions, and I'm going to use the criteria a lot of home and away and previous results in the tournament, because I think that home advantage cannot be underestimated, and it's going to take a very strong team and a very switched on team to turn over a home team in the knockout phase, because as I say, it's only one leg. So yeah, you're one and done. If you miss out, you don't get a second bite of the apple, or cherry, whatever fruit you want to choose. Tomato, is it a fruit? So yeah, let's take a look. So first up, we have Harlequins versus Glasgow Warriors. So who would I choose here? I'm going to go against everything I've just said, and I'm going to choose Glasgow for getting through to the quarterfinals. I think they're a dark horse in this competition. No Scottish team has ever even gotten to the final, so I think they'll have a good run this year. Where they'll go and win the whole thing, I doubt it, but I think they'll have a good run. Harlequins, they're blowing hot and cold this season. On their day, they can beat anybody, obviously, but yeah, I'm just going to go, even though Harlequins have home advantage, I'm going to go with the Glasgow Warriors for that one. Then on to the Bulls versus Lyon. The Bulls have home advantage, and even though they had a pretty bad defeat in the URC recently, I believe to Leinster, they have to be favourites against Lyon, I think, because they're playing at home. So I'm going to go with the home side there. And same again for the next one, Exeter versus Bath, because they're both English teams. It's a derby, so there's not that much of an advantage in terms of playing at home, but I still think Exeter are very strong, and they're going to turn it on in front of their home crowd, and I think they'll beat Bath. Stormers and La Rochelle. Now, don't forget, La Rochelle are the reigning champions, so Stormers are going to play them. They did beat them, actually, recently, and that was at home. So Stormers already have an advantage there, and they're playing at home. So I will go with the Stormers for the La Rochelle match. Bordeaux and Saracens. Saracens have been doing all right. They've been putting some good performances together in the English the Gallagher Premiership, I believe it's called. But I think Bordeaux at home will just be too strong for them. Great attacking rugby they play, and I think they'll get the job done. So Bordeaux, I'll choose over Saracens. Then Leicester. And I think at home, even though Leinster are worried about a few players being injured, I think, yeah, they'll beat Leicester at home. So I'll go with Leinster there. Northampton, again, one of the only sides to win away, versus Munster. Northampton at home, I think, is a too big task for Munster, and I think Northampton will take that. And then finally, Toulouse versus Racing, 92. And Toulouse at home, Toulouse have been smashing everybody, and I expect them to continue doing that. So I'll take Toulouse at home. So just to recap, I'll go through my winners of the last 16, and that's Glasgow, the Bulls, Exeter, Stormers, Bordeaux, Leinster, Saints, and Toulouse. Now, out of the 8 games, I think I chose only one for the away team to win, and that was Glasgow Warriors. So that's my dark horse team, Glasgow Warriors, to overturn the odds. But obviously anything can happen, but I'm looking forward to these games. It's going to be interesting. Not sure about the format of the tournament, but now everything is done, everything is set, so the players don't need to worry about that. We'll leave that until after the tournament is done. They just need to concentrate on the upcoming match, and yeah, it's going to be an exciting weekend. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz, and yeah, I will see you for the next one. All right, bye-bye.